Battle Royale is about a group of 40 or 40 something students, just around 42 at most students, who get trapped on a deserted island and are told to kill each other until there's just one person left. It's almost like you get Squid Game, but Squid Game, it's gradual. In Battle Royale, everybody has to kill everybody until there's just one person. In Squid Game, obviously there's just one winner, but the process of killing is gradual. But in Battle Royale, it's just 3 days. Everybody has to die. Just remaining one person. In fact, everybody could die, and there could be no winner at all. So it's kind of pointless in a sense, but death has points. Now, the movie begins with what we see is like a flashback to a previous winner. I don't know if Battle Royale, the movie or the anime, had a prequel, but we do see that there's a girl who won the movie before, or won the battle before, and journalists are seemingly crowded and going crazy, and it doesn't even make sense because, I mean, this is Japan, so I don't know about the in Japan, but modern Japan is a lot more conservative in that sense of, they're underpopulated, so I don't see why death would be celebrated. But everybody was like, like celebrating and checking like he's some celebrity. Like, come on, someone died, people died. But anyways, now the movie itself, not the prequel. Now the real movie itself began when we saw what seems like a flashback scene. We see what's his name again? Kitano. Yeah, Kitano is the name of a teacher who comes to class and he sees on the board that I believe the class is called grade 9 class B. Yes, grade 9 class B. Are absent from the entire class. They supposedly wrote on the board that they're going to be absent because they feel like it. And obviously, he's a teacher. He's there. There's nothing he could do. The whole class, the whole school is unruly. And then before he leaves, what's her name again? Norika? No, Noriko. Noriko. Okay, you get Noriko. Noriko is the only female lead who survives at the end. But let's continue. Noriko comes into the class and she's surprised that she doesn't seem to be part of the whole not come to class affair. So she comes to class and she sees nobody's in class and she greets Mr. Kitano, the teacher. And I don't know, he's exaggerative, he doesn't care, against the board. And before he can even leave, some of the students kind of harass him and he's even stabbed. Not like lethally, but just enough for him to bleed. Okay, so he's stabbed, eventually quits the school, a new teacher takes his place, and voila. Now back to present day, we see the students are on a bus trip or simply going somewhere, and their new teacher is at the back seat, everybody's having fun. And Noriko, present day Noriko now, writes, I don't know, she doesn't write, she brings a camera and some homemade cookies for Shuya, who is our main character now. Now, Shuya's best friend, Nobu, actually likes Noriko. But I think from what we saw, Noriko actually likes Shuya, not Shinobu. So, okay, let's continue, okay? So, no love triangle here yet. Now, the students eventually arrive at some island and they found out that they have some, I don't know, what would I call it? Necklaces, if you want to call it, but essentially they're like armlets, but for your neck. Okay, some, I don't know, what would we call those? I don't even know what to call them, but they have something round around your neck, and it's scary. Everybody's scared, and then they find out they're taken to this hall, and they're addressed by their old teacher, Mr. Kitano. Now they first address him as teacher, but he doesn't mind or pay on to any of them. So he goes on to introduce himself and tells them that this is all about the BR Act, Battle Royale Act by Japan, and that he goes on to tell them that their parents are aware and they've all give their consent, which I find very, very troubling. But the movie just pretty much started from there. Now we see the students are aggravated and some even try to fight back, but are firmly resisted by the soldiers. Now, particularly Shuya's best friend Shinobu, or Nobu for short, tries to wrestle with the teacher after the soldiers open fire. Hopefully, not hurting anybody, not killing anybody, but enough fire to scare people. Okay. Now, Nobu tries to fight Mr. Kitano, but is eventually stabbed, and that was the first death from the students of 42. The first person who that was Shinobu. From then on, everybody was kind of shook, and even though Shia tried to attack Mr. Kitano, he was stopped by his friends because they knew he'd also be killed if he tried anything stupid. Now, so Mr. Kitano puts on a TV program that explains to them the rules of the game. The rules are there are no rules. The only time frame they have is 3 days, as I said before. Everybody has to die, or at least one person has to survive after the end of the 3 days. If more than one person is alive after the end of 3 days, the color, that's the right word, the color they have in their neck will explode and everybody dies. So either you die for someone to survive or you both die. It's pretty simple. Now, for a demonstration, he showed them how the detonators and the colors work. He pressed the signal, and someone close to him, like one of the students close to him, were in the color, just kaboom, and their neck was cut off, jugular vein out, arteries out, and that's it. They died. Now, another rule, apart from saying a 3 day period limited, you must not go to the island, was that you were going to be given backpacks with food, water, and weapons. Weapons of various assortments. Some would be useful, like guns and knives and machetes, and some may be useless and barely useful. Okay, but like a pot cover. But you have to make the best of what you have and survive or kill whoever, at least until one person survives. Okay, that was the whole simple plan. Simple enough. Now, each of them, they were also told that they have 2 transfer students who are going to be joining their classes, and the transfer students were introduced to be, I believe, Kazuo, a blonde guy who we find out is very sociopathic and psychopathic at the same time, and I believe the name is what? Kawada? Yeah, Kawada. Kawada is the previous, or we soon find out, is the previous winner of the last held battle royale, and he survives after his girlfriend died. Now, so none of these students know this yet, but eventually we get to find out in the movie. Now, students are released, and this is like 1 a.m. in the morning now. The students are released into the wilds, that is, into the uninhabited island, to go fend for themselves within this 3 day period and kill themselves and whatnot. Now, notable characters that I loved. Mitsuko, I think her name is Mitsuko, right? Yeah, Mitsuko Suma. She is badass. She is cutthroat. She is bitch. She is horrible. She kills a lot of people, like a lot, simply using a machete and eventually just using her brains to collect weapons from different people, playing the victim and running when she needs to. But eventually, she's killed by what's his name again? Kiriyama. Yeah, I think his name is Kiriyama. Oh, you can just say Kazuo. Yeah, she's killed by Kazuo, the transfer student. Unfortunately. What else? By the end of the first day, about 12 students died, and of those 12 students, 4 of them were couple suicides. So you know how we are in school as teens. So you have a girlfriend, you have a boyfriend, whatever, and we like to explore. And I learned that, I don't want to say this because it sounds stupid, but I think from what I've learned about Japanese culture, sex is not. I mean, it's not like, I think like every culture, sex is a conservative topic, but it's not something that kids or teenagers, just like everybody else, everywhere else, are averse to. It's like they practice it a lot. That is stupid, okay? But it's just a joke and like an observation, okay? Now back to movie, we see that from above Mitsuko's death, okay, there's Hiraki, I mean Hiroku. What's his name again? I think original. No, I think is. Oh yeah, I think Hiroku. I think his name is Hiroku. Let's just say Hiroki or Hiroku. I don't know. I don't remember, but it starts with an H. Okay. Now I love his character a lot, and I love his friendship with, what was his friend's name again? I don't remember her name, but she died in his arms. And at first, I thought maybe he was in love with her, but we found out in the movie that he actually loved someone else. And unfortunately, like nature will do it. It was the person he loved that killed him. But well, the person didn't live too long after that, as they were also killed by Kazuo. Now, Kazuo is the top killer in this whole movie because he kills over 12 people. No, over 12, yeah, he killed more than 12 people with lots and lots and lots of gunshots, machetes, and all. Now, by the second day, I think about 19 people die. So 12, 19, that's about what, 31? So we have about 42 people left. So 42 people initially minus 31. So that's what? That's like what, 9? 9, 9, 11-ish, or let's just say around 9. I think 9 was the amount of people left at the third day. Now, out of those 9, I believe 3 or 4 of them were Shuya's friend, and they were killed by bombings, grenades and gunshots by Kazuo, which as I said, Kazuo is a psychopath. He's a sociopath. He actually joined the competition of free will, like unlike Kawada that was forced to join after winning the previous competition. Kazuo joined competition because he wanted to, and he wanted to kill people. So yeah, he killed them both, all, and eventually he was killed by Kawada. Thank God. Now for the last series or last parts of the movie, we just had Kawada, Nokiru, right? Yeah, Noriku, sorry, Noriku and Shuya, who made it to like the last segment. And since Shuya had promised that, he'd take care of them, promised, they trusted him all the way. Now, I don't think I can explain this trust to you best because I don't know. I think Shuya told them a story about how he won the last game because he tried to save his girlfriend, who eventually got shot and died without no before he died because he didn't die because she died, so he got help. Yeah, but she already died, so she couldn't get help. But he felt kind of bad because she died with a smile, and she told him thank you, arigato. So he didn't really know what she was thanking him for. So he came, or quote unquote, he was in the game because he wanted to find out why she was smiling when she died. Now, as compared to Kazuo, who came being a psychopath, who wanted to kill everybody, I say Kawada was, sweet, nice, great guy. Now, apart from the Mitsuko's incident, who killed a lot of people, another notable incident in the movie was a lighthouse incident. Now, in I think day 2 of the movie, um, Shuya, Kawada, and Nokiru, right? Noriku, sorry, I can be taking the name, were staying in some abandoned house, and unfortunately, they crossed paths with Kazu. Kazu came killing someone else. Actually, he came to kill someone else, but they made noise and he heard them and he blasted them. And obviously, to save the rest, Shuya, aka what's his first name again? Nahara, yeah. Nahara decided to save the rest by running away to draw out or draw away Kazuo from the rest of the people. That's from Kawada and Noriku. Good thing that I got named this time. Noriku. Okay, so he does that, but without, completely getting unfazed. He gets shot a couple times, I think around his arm, and jumps into the ocean to get himself saved. Now, he washes up ashore and he's saved by a couple of girls, and he'll take him to the lighthouse for safety. Now, the problem is, one of those girls does not trust him as they had witnessed him supposedly kill another classmate. Now, this killing was an accident. He was attacked first, and unfortunately, the person kind of was killed by their own machete. It wasn't like he didn't plan it. This was like self-defense. But the girl didn't trust him, so she wanted him out. She tried to poison him, but unfortunately the food was eaten by one of the other girls, and with that one dying, the remaining like 5 or 6 girls on the lighthouse turned against each other, and guns everywhere, bullets everywhere, everyone got shot, and out of the guilt that she caused this by poisoning someone, she eventually took her own life. Suicide. She jumped from the lighthouse and boom, brain splashed and died. Now, with obviously Nobu, sorry, not Nobu, what's his name again? Shuya, injured and recuperating, he still finds a way out, thankfully, and eventually gets to meet up with Kawada and what's her name again? Noriku, at the shrine temple somewhere on the island. Now, there is an interesting thing because before he gets to meet them, we see Noriku has a dream about Kitano, sorry, the teacher, and he seems to be lonely. And while she goes to help I keep mistaking their names, Shuya, while she saw him coming to the temple, obviously because he's injured, he's struggling to walk. She is also met by Kitano. Yes. And he actually helps them, gives them an umbrella, and that's the most help he gives them though. But we later did find out that Kitano was the one responsible for transferring Kawada to the island to help save both Noriku and actually not both Noriku, to help save Noriku specifically, but Noriku being attached or entangled with Shuya made Shuya just like a getaway, thing, like a plus one, if you will. Now, at the end of the movie, Kawada fakes killing Noriku and what's his name again? Sorry, what's his name again? Shuya, I keep mistaking his name. So he fakes killing them, and knowing fully well that this was the plan of Kitano, Kitano tells the army to go, that everybody is dead, or so the movie ended, the game ended. And so obviously, because he's the one in charge of operation, the army obeys and leaves, leaving him with obviously the 3 survivors. Now, it would have been 3 survivors if not that, unfortunately, Kawada had already been injured from his fights with Kazuo. No, remember I told you earlier that he killed Kazuo from the gunshot fights, okay? Now, he'd also got injured, but he didn't die immediately like Kazuo. Now, when everybody else had died, remaining just him, Shuya, and Noriku, they were trying to escape off the island, obviously because the army is gone. They've taken the helicopter, there's no helipad. The only thing they had was a boat. So they were taking the boats, trying to get off the island. But unfortunately, the injuries that Kawada had sustained were too severe. He hadn't gotten any treatment, so he bled out and he died. But he died a happy death compared to the rest of people who were massacred and blown to bits and slaughtered and suicide and all. But he died a happy death compared to them. Now, at the end of the movie, we see that Shuya and Noriku are dating. They decide to form a resistance against the Japanese government and the adults who found that using children for death games was funny or entertaining in any way. Now that leads us to Battle Royale 2, which I'm about to watch, and who knows, if I'm done with it, I can make a summary of it. It was fun. I definitely watched it again. It was super fun. I love Mitsuo's character so much. Risuko's character was hot. She was flaming. I love Hiroku's character. The fact that he was an understanding friend who like a male friend who was best friends with a female but wasn't sexually interactive with her, like, and he was still straight, which is the best part, you know. So that was nice. I like that arc. um Obviously Kawada's arc with the girlfriend thing was smart. I like that. Nobu dying at the first person was kind of sad, but anyways, people died. It happens. All the couple suicides were really sad, and the fact that they actually followed each other to their deaths is, I don't know, has Day4VD or David, aka our psychopathic killer, allegedly, says this is romantic homicide. With that, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, see ya.